friends, welcome back to another episode of Scrappy Shorts where everything has potential. So today's inspiration comes from searching on Pinterest, and you know how you can find those big maps of all different kinds of card layouts. They're usually black and white and they show you different patterns to use. That's where I got my inspiration for today's video of getting out these scraps, but how can I use them in a different way? So we're going to use some scraps, we're going to emboss them, then we're going to do a layout that I found on Pinterest on one of those maps with like 10 different kinds of layouts, and I'm just going to do one of them, but I do have some samples to show you at the end of some other ones I put together just as an example. So let's head down to my crafting table and let's just take a look at what I'm going to do today. So very quick and easy card. You can see here, this is the layout that I went with, and this is off of Pinterest, and I'll put a link to the one that the map that I used for this one. My other ones were probably from different ones, but that I have as examples. So I'm going to get out some pieces that'll be similar to these shapes. I'm not worried about measuring, I'm not worried about size as long as they fit on my A2 size card. And then I'm going to do the mats to go around them on these two pieces. Again, not going to measure, I'm going to get out scraps and find a fit, and then we'll just cut to size as I go. Alright? So I got out my scrap bins, and I was kind of digging just before filming just to kind of see what I had that would work. And I think I'm going to get out my my plaid scraps, because there's pieces in here that'll absolutely work, but I've got so much plaid that I think will work because of the sizes that these are cut into. So we're going to throw this one aside. I'm going to use this big bin here for some of my accent pieces, and probably dig through here to use probably something like these for my mat layers. So let's just get out some pieces here and see what I have for scraps. So let's see, and I might have to cut some of these to size, but here's what I have in my scrap bin. And I think I kind of like this. I think is going to be one, because I'm looking at my shapes here, right? And so I've got some yellows and different purples and things in here. So I actually might take this as my back one. I'm going to use, I think, a blue one to go underneath. And then I have some yellows, I think, for the square on top. Alright? So I'm going to use a little stripe out of my other bin for these pieces, probably on both sides of that. So I'm going to cut these down just a little bit so they're just slightly smaller, and then I'll cut them to sizes I just measure up. So I'm going to take, and again, I'm not too worried about size as much as, or measurements, just as long as it fits on my A2. So I'm going to do a rough kind of like, where would that fall according to that? So I'm going to cut just right below this blue line, right in like so. Okay, so there's this piece. Now I've got my blue piece that was going underneath, and I don't want it quite this wide. So I'm going to cut that down. I might actually just do like a straight on 2-inch, I think, on that one, because that's usually a decent size to go across, like so. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit off. So let's just go 1 3/4. So this is 1 3/4. And then I need a square, so I'm going to just do probably this yellow, or this one, because this one's a much bigger pattern. I think I'm going to do a, let's just do a 3x3. Let's go 2.5. 2.5 by 2.5. 2.5 by 2.5. Alright? So here's my 3 scrap pieces according to my pattern, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss these, and because these are plaid and more masculine, I got out these for my embossing folders. So I'm probably just going to do a little bit of each. So I'm going to do, I think I want the wood grain on, I think we're going to go this one on top, and then wood grain on these two, like so. And I'm going to run these through my Big Shot. So I'm going to cut to that, be right back. Alright, I have embossed these. It's hard to see with probably the camera. This one's got the wood texture on both of these. This one's got the rope, crisscrossing rope texture. I just did this to add some texture, add some detail to these scraps. Now what I want to do is I want to find some colors that'll match. There's orange and blues in this to go on either side. This is my box of strips that I just pre-cut into strips, and then I go through here and dig. So I do have some blues in here. And again, I'm not worried about exact size and width, all right? I'm just throwing some pieces together. So I'm going to use these two to go on either side of that. And then I need some mat for these. So I got out this bin here, and we're going to find some mat that would match those pieces. And I usually just dig through and find something that's going to kind of match them all. So this actually might go well possibly with that. That purple actually. We're going to go purple on that. And then if I can find a yellow brown. That's a little too yellow possibly. Again, we're just digging through scraps and combining what I have to make. So let's see with that yellow. I've got a nice cream that seems that might actually work. I think that cream's going to work on top of all of this. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to just glue these pieces down. Then I'll mat and just cut around the other things. So let's just glue this down. Now on my embossing, it kind of cut through the paper. So I just have to be kind of careful here with my glue so it doesn't squish through. So we're just going to do kind of a real light kind of over that texture and make sure I get my edges down. Alright? Again, I'm not measuring, I'm just doing my layout as my design had. Okay? Then we're going to throw up my strips on either side. The sample, as you can see, it just had the one strip on the top. I'm going to do both sides just to add to that. Like so. Now I'm going to glue this one up in the corner, and I'll just cut around to make my frame. Like so. Okay, we're just going to get out my paper trimmer. And I just eyeball and make sure I get as close to the same size all the way around. On that piece, and then we're going to do the same in this corner for this piece. Then I'll just tuck this up in this corner. Make sure I've got at least two of those sides even, and then I cut the other two sides. Just like so. So easy. The only thing you got left to do then here is just add whatever sentiment you want. Alright, let's just trim this down. Just like so. Here's the cool thing. You start looking at all these layouts and you're gonna realize that you have probably a ton of scraps that will fit these layouts, and you don't have to do much cutting at all if you just dig just enough. Let's just trim this just a little bit more to bring that down a tiny bit on this side. Alright, I'm going to pop this one. Am I going to pop this up on dimensionals or this? I'm going to glue this one and pop that yellow one up on some dimensionals just to pop that up a little bit. Okay, so now this one, I'm just going to lay across like my design had. And then this one, I might pop up on dimensionals, because what I can do is you can do a couple things here. One, you can get a white square and lay that smaller square in with your sentiment, or I could glue this piece down and then pop up a sentiment with another square over the top of this, right? Which I think I'm going to do, because I'll end up popping a sentiment, I think. Actually, I'm going to pop this up, because I might just do like a little sentiment right over the top and keep it white. So we'll pop this one up. This could be a masculine birthday card, a how are you, a thank you. This one, I feel like this could be pretty universal for what you're going to put for a greeting on this one. And then I'll just show you a couple of the samples that I pre-made, mixing this same concept, but then just adding I added some stamps, and then I did some punches on the other samples. So, all right, we're going to lay this one just like so. And there you have it. An easy card with nice texture on there by embossing these pieces to give it some texture. And then I could just take a little smaller square here, or just do a fussy cut or die cut out a sentiment and put right there on the center. Let me show you the other ones that I've made. And I took out some pieces here as mocked up sentiments. So this is one. Again, just laid the strips and trimmed off the edges, left a spacing, so I just kind of did some even spacing. I did measure these out to like 1 3/4 inches and then spaced it out. This one here, I just had a strip, and again, I embossed this one. I did not emboss this one. Laid 2 strips down the center, and then I just took some stamps that I had that kind of match these flowers and colors, and stamped it down the side. And then this one, I absolutely love. I embossed this one. Then I punch cut these circles out, cut them in half with a strip of some paper that matched. So again, you could just leave this blank as a note card. You could ink blend underneath this and lay these down. Again, and then you can take, if you wanted to put a sentiment here on this one, I could put a sentiment here. I could lay a sentiment right down the center of this one, and you could have these 3 cards. Probably took me, I don't know, 10 minutes. This one, as you see, a couple minutes on this one. So get out these scraps and start making some cards. Get out these bins. Go to Pinterest, and I'll put a link to one that I used for my video today, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. They're just card layouts. You can add your creative freedom. This one literally just had this side here. I added the stamps and I added the strips down the middle. So just kind of use that creative freedom with what you have as well. So again, thank you so much for showing up. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for my channel and get notified with the bell next time I upload my next video. If you are not new here, don't be shy. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and keep coming back. These Scrappy Shorts I do every other Saturday. I have a Monday moment that comes out for tips, tricks, and helpful hints on Mondays. And then on Thursdays, I will post a full-on card for you. So thank you for showing up, and until next time, I'll see you then.